All right, 18 past 4 o'clock hours. We welcome in our good friend Ryan Rothstein. Does a great job at Sports Radio WIP. Follow him on Twitter at WiseRye. Kind enough to join us on this Wednesday, on a Wednesday edition of Back Here Play. What's going on, pal?
Are we ever going to stop talking about Ben Simmons?
Until he's out of town.
My goodness. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I mean, well, look, you got to think about this, right? This is not surprising or shocking, no doubt, that we knew he was going to get moved. But I think to sit there and say, now get me out, I'm not even going to report, to me, that is just taking the ball and going home. And in this area, if you're in the Philadelphia 76ers backyard or you're a Philly fan or a Philly sports fan, that does not fly well with the fan base, certainly doesn't fly with the media. And I honestly don't believe it's flying well with his teammates and soon-to-be former teammates.
I don't know how it can. I mean, this guy hasn't done anything right. It's not a surprise because it's just who he is. Like, I put it out there yesterday on Twitter. It's like someone cheating in a relationship and then going back to their partner and saying, "This is your fault.
Right.
We're breaking up."
Right.
It's like, okay, bro, get out of here. Like what? Like you're the one that just cheated on me.
Yeah.
It's just a bad look. It's what he should do. I mean, most of us would agree if we want to be, what's the perfect way to handle this? I need to be better. I've continuously fallen short. If I'm a Sixer, I'll report to camp. Like, there's a way to go about it.
Yep.
It's just
soft.
Clearly his agent is saying, I don't want his value to go down in a Sixers uniform. It could get ugly if he doesn't grow, whatever it is. But this is just an ugly situation, and I'm disappointed in Embiid. He didn't need to say anything. Those late-night tweets didn't help this story at all.
No, and you know what? People are looking at it as if, see, and this is all because of the Philly fan base. We got you to where you are. No, if you really read into those tweets, they're basically backward slaps to Ben. The one that basically said, well, I got booed and I put in the time and some people aren't cut like I am and I put in the work and all. That is a direct shot at Simmons. I don't care what anyone says. That's not Embiid. Everything is calculated with Embiid. That is a direct shot at Simmons saying, yo, man, you could be great, but you just don't want to put the time in.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's true or partially true. I also think Embiid saw that report of, the Simmons and Embiid relationship is, tainted, tarnished, however it was worded. And Joel Embiid is there sitting there saying, whoa, don't throw my name into this bleep storm now. This is not my fault. I'm not a reason or the reason because Ben doesn't want to return or this has gotten ugly because of our relationship. It has nothing to do with that. And then you bring up the fans. It's like, dude, I heard you in your opening segment. It's just noise. If you're Joel Embiid,
exactly.
If you're Ben Simmons, if you're any professional athlete,
that's all it is.
It doesn't matter what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what you're saying. It shouldn't matter.
Correct.
And for them to continuously say it doesn't matter, but then react and look like a jackass in certain cases, well, then you're just being a flat-out hypocrite.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm sure you're interested in this. Teams' odds to land Ben Simmons, the Warriors are sitting at plus 300. T-Wolves at plus 400. How about this? San Antonio, which I think that might be the spot, plus 800.
Yeah, I don't know how I view those odds. Like, I look at Golden State. I don't see how the 76ers pull the trigger on the deal with Golden State because, Golden State isn't going to offer up, obviously, Curry and Klay Thompson and even Draymond Green. And I don't know if Daryl Morey wants Andrew Wiggins. So I don't see how Golden State gets in the mix. Philly is still the odds-on favorite. I don't know how that happens. So I take those odds a little bit with a grain of salt. I still like Minnesota, and I like Sacramento as some sleepers.
I haven't heard this brought up too much. I did mention it yesterday with Kai, and we had a good little back and forth on this. I'm wondering if you've talked about it as well. It seems as though the Sixers really not only misjudged the situation, but really overplayed their hand because they were asking for so much in return. Now, again, I credit you if you have your convictions and you want a boatload in return, you're going to stand by and stick with those convictions. More power to you. But they were unrealistic. what they were asking for to get back in return was not going to be realistic. So as time keeps going on, right, now all of a sudden you don't really have a ton of leverage if you're the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, now all of a sudden you're almost like the motivated seller. And what that happens is, well, I can get them on the cheap. So, I mean, it's a bad look for the Sixers because they really overplayed their hand.
Yeah, this is just a big FU from Ben and his camp, because what leverage does Daryl Morey and the 76ers have now? Exactly what you just said. They have nothing. Me and you debated not too long ago about James Harden coming to Philly. Listen, the 76ers, if they just decided to package Tyrese Maxey and Matisse Thybulle, they would have James Harden in Philadelphia. But Daryl Morey said no, however that went down. And now, I don't know if you're going to be able to get a bag of peanuts for this guy.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that yesterday, and I don't know if you caught the show at all, but I did mention how you were an advocate for it, and 2020 is hindsight when you think about a Monday morning quarterback, and if they would have done it, they wouldn't have to deal with this drama right now. And, you know, now you get those reports, too, with Rich Paul having other players, you know, under his thumb, so to speak, and, you know, if this is a potential, I'm going to keep sticking it to the Philadelphia 76ers, you know, agents are agents, man. I mean, but the agent didn't throw his client under the bus. After Game 7 in Atlanta, you had the head coach and you had the franchise player basically throwing the player under the bus. I mean, and like I said, ever since, to me, his place on the trade market, which has now become one of the biggest stories in the league, no doubt. But I just think they're in a position where the asking price was so high. I just don't know, man. I know I waver on this, and it probably sounds bad, but part of me thinks they might be stuck with him, because if they don't get back what they want, it seems they're adamant, Ryan, that they're not going to trade him unless they get back X, Y, and Z. Anything less than X, Y, and Z, he's not getting moved. And then what do you do there, right? He's going to sit out camp. Yeah. He's hurting the 76ers because now you're trying to build an offense. You're trying to game plan, assuming he would have been on the floor, and now you can't.
Yeah, I mean, two things. Like, the first thing I want to respond to is Ben getting thrown under the bus by Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid. That story is nothing if, once again, when it's Ben's turn to talk that night, he comes to the podium or the mic, whatever, and says, they're right. They're right.
Yeah.
I lost this team the series. I need to be better. Then that's it. Story over. Yep. But instead, I am who I am. It is what it is. He's just a jackass. Everything he says is boneheaded and the wrong way to go about things. And if I'm Daryl Morey, if you don't want to report to camp, fine. I'm not trading you, buddy. So then that is one way to flip the script, so to speak, back on Ben by not moving him. And then the negativity goes back on Ben's side of the fence in his camp by saying, you're the one not reporting to camp. We want you here.
Yeah.
But it's going to get ugly. Because if that's the best option for Philadelphia and their brass, that is not the best option. So it's the best one, but it's not a good spot to be in.
Yeah, and think about this, right? Go back to draft night. You had the rumors circulating with the Simmons trade discussions between the Sixers and the Warriors. All right, so this is what we want. We want the lottery picks, number 7 and 14 overall. We want last year's number 2 overall pick, James Wiseman. We want Andrew Wiggins. We want 2 other first-round picks. Are you kidding me? And then that follows a report that he basically wants every single member of the Toronto Raptors team, as well as the organization, the number 1 overall pick. I mean, number 4 overall pick.
That can't be real, right? Like, he could have really asked for that, but, you know, we know poker, both of us. We know gambling outside of sports setting. Like, that has to be a bluff.
I don't believe it is.
Or a chess move. No?
I think it was 95% legit, 5% chess move. They're trying to squeeze, you know, you can't squeeze blood out of a stone. They're trying to get everything they possibly can in return for this.
Well, sure, yeah, they are trying to get everything possible in return, but I also think, let me put this out there, let it get leaked, let it get reported, and then maybe, you know, you shoot for the moon, you land on a star, whatever that stupid phrase is. Like, I don't know. But once again, as ugly as this story is and is still going to get, maybe I'm an idiot, but I still believe in Daryl Morey getting out of this corner somehow. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I have a little bit of faith.
I don't even know if it's about him right now. I just think the whole thing is just a cluster, you know what. I mean, obviously, he's got to be the catalyst behind it, but we'll see how it plays out. 4:30 on a Wednesday edition of Back Your Play. Rich Quinones here. We'll take you up to 6. Ryan Rothstein joining us from Sports Radio WIP. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit to a little football. You know, if I was a betting man, which I am, I could have told people right away that Newton was going to get cut and released. And I think, and I got crushed yesterday for saying this, and I know the hoodie says otherwise, I think a lot of this is not only the fact that Jones, you know, is going to be the unencumbered starter. They want him to start. Newton can't play anymore. But I think a part of this, not to get all goofy, political with the COVID and everything, is that Belichick wanted vaccinated players. He didn't want to have to deal with a player who might come in contact with other players, and then they would have the potential of losing players to forfeit games. I think it was a culmination of everything, and they knew that after a year, Newton was just a bridge, and they weren't going to win with him, which now makes me really get a little giddy with the futures of, all right, you know what? I might have to do something and play the Patriots win total and take the under. So what's your thoughts on the release of Cam Newton? Were you surprised by that? And how would you bet looking ahead if you were going to bet the Patriots knowing that they're going with a young quarterback under center?
Yeah, I don't know how much I look into the COVID stuff with Cam as to why he was cut. Because, I mean, the bottom line is this. If Cam was playing, like, his MVP season, is he getting cut?
Well, he's on Carolina.
If he's not vaccinated,
he's on Carolina.
Is he getting cut?
Yeah. No. I think there's – come on, man. You know how Belichick is. I'm telling you, there's a small, minute percentage involved.
I think he made it easier. You know? Like, I think he's like, I don't know about this guy. I don't know how much better he can get from last year. I think we have a lower ceiling with him. And he's not vaccinated. You know what? Let's just go to Mac Jones.
He can't play anymore. I mean, he never recovered from that Super Bowl. He does. But I think the way the hoodie works, he works in mysterious ways. Now, a team's going to take a flyer on him, no doubt. How would you bet the Pats, though, when the season starts?
I don't know how much this changes things for me. Like, I still think the Patriots are going to struggle. I mean, there are some now interesting odds, some movement in the odds as it relates to Rookie of the Year, as it relates to, like, most interceptions thrown. Like, we're just looking at Mac Jones as he relates to the futures market. We can look there. But, like, Q, I don't know. Are you going to hammer the under now on Patriots win totals?
I don't see
like this. I still think they're an team. Like, I don't know what this solidifies in either direction for me. I think you disagree.
I can tell you right now, I'll go on the record saying this. The first 4 games of the season, I'm taking Miami, the Jets, the Saints, and the Bucks. I think their first win, if they don't win one of those games, is definitely going to be on the road against the Texans, because I don't think Watson's ever going to take a snap again for Houston. But again, you got a young rookie quarterback on the road. So, no, whatever those points are, I don't care if the Dolphins are favored by 3.5. Give me the Dolphins by 3 and the hook. They got to go on the road to the Jets. You know, I'll take the Jets, and maybe I'll take the under, because I think offenses struggle in the beginning of the season. I've always maintained that defenses are ahead of the offenses, and now you're throwing a rookie quarterback into the mix who, again, I don't think blew away the competition in preseason, but also we know that Cam Newton is not the quarterback that he once was, as you alluded to. So, no, I'll tell you right now, the first 4 games of the season, whoever the Patriots are playing, I'm taking.
Yeah, okay, well, that's I completely agree with that. I thought we were just focusing in on, like, the futures market, like Patriots odds to win the division, win total, stuff like that.
Not touching it, Ryan. And I apologize for that. Let me clarify. I'm also taking a flyer on their under, because I don't know what it's currently right now. I would imagine it's 7 or 8. I can't see it being any more than that.
Yeah, I thought I saw it at 6.5 or 7.5, but I would have to get the updated exact number at the moment as well. I mean, Jones right now, Q, He has the second most money, 18% of the total money, to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, after the line also moved yesterday from 12-1 to 5-1 for Mac Jones to win Rookie of the Year.
So he's at 6-1 right now, currently, right?
It might have been moved up, to 6-1. I know yesterday it got down to 5-1 at BetMGM.
Well, then that tells me then the only other quarterback out there that has better odds, I would assume, is Trevor Lawrence, probably 4-1.
Yes.
Okay.
But do you know who has the most money right now for sportsbook liability to win Rookie of the Year? I'll give you a hint. It's not Trevor Lawrence.
Zach Wilson.
The Steelers' Najee Harris.
10-1.
Yeah.
He's
That's where the liability comes in because, and I love that bet, by the way. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I think Najee Harris in that offense with Big Ben, if he can stay healthy, and Tomlin, he can put up some big numbers.
Oh, yeah, no, I love the draft pick. I'm looking right now. So this is from Bet Online. Jones 5-2, Lawrence 4-1, Zach Wilson 9-2. Here, you know what? Here's one that's interesting. Justin Fields at 15-2, which tells me he would have to start, you would say, at least by week 2 or 3, right? You would, or potentially be name starter to have at least have a shot, a chance.
Yeah, I don't love that bet right now. I mean, there is some value because, if you can get in there, like you said, early in the season, then who the heck knows what the kid's going to do. I like him, but I still think that situation in Chicago, like Matt Nagy's massively overrated in my opinion, and I still don't even know what the Chicago Bears really are.
Listen, he's done after this year. And they're not going to. I don't believe. And that GM may be on the hot seat too. Like I for the life of me, I don't see them winning a ton of games. I really don't. I'll give you another team. So odds to win the NFL MVP, and I know this has moved from, and I don't have it updated, so forgive me for the listening audience. But I know once the Broncos named Bridgewater their starting quarterback, it went from plus 15,000 to plus 12,500, which, again, I'm like, whoa. I think if you're smart and you're calculated, watch the lines early on for the Denver Broncos. If you take a look at the games where they, the first, I would say, 5 to 6 games for the Denver Broncos. First of all, it might be smoke and mirrors if they go up to New York and they beat the Giants 425 opening day. I think that would be more of an indictment on the Giants than the Denver Broncos. But I'm telling you, look for their win total if you're looking at Denver, and also look at their first couple games. You tell me what you think. At the Giants, so argument's sake, let's just say, because the Giants, who knows what they're going to be this year, maybe they're 1.5, 2-point favored. Then they go on the road at Jacksonville. Then they have the Jets, the Ravens, and the Steelers, and then the Raiders. Can you find at least 2 games where the Broncos would cover out of those first 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
So my point is, watch Denver this year with the line. You might be able to make some money off the. I don't think they're going to be good, but I think they're going to cover and they're going to be competitive. I'm a fan of Bridgewater. But I'm a little surprised that they don't run it back with Locke. Is that, what's your thoughts on Bridgewater out there in Denver? Do you have Denver? Do you think you'll play Denver at all this upcoming season?
Yeah, that's a team that I completely agree with you. I think there could be some opportunity early in the year before maybe they start to surprise us a little bit. Because this is a team that, and listen, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers,
sure.
So take this with a grain of salt. But people are saying if Denver gets Aaron Rodgers, watch out for their Super Bowl odds. Watch out for them to make a deep run. And I know Aaron Rodgers is a big deal, but in the NFL, you have to have some other talent in the other 21 positions on the field. So my point is, I'm with you. I think they are a little bit flying under the radar right now.
How about Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence? So I'm a little concerned that they lose their rookie running back. I don't believe that they've addressed that offensive line. But if I can get some games with some prop bets where Lawrence throws for like more than 250, 260, I think he's going to drop back to pass and throw a ton of times this year. I really do.
Q, he is going. He might die if he starts for Jacksonville. That kid is running for his life. He was running for his life in the preseason.
Yeah, but they don't have a running back. So I think
they don't have an offensive line.
Yeah, max protect two tight ends.
I can't put any weight into them or him.
Really?
No, I can't. Yeah. I have to see it. I'll be shocked. I like the kid. He's obviously super talented. That is no hot take or mystery there. But the team stinks. Like, if I'm Urban Meyer, I'm thinking about benching him not benching him, you know what I mean, sitting him in his first year. What's the benefit? I think he's just going to get hammered all damn season.
No, I've gone back and forth. A couple things here. I think he has a quick release. I think he'll get the ball out of his hands, and yes, he's probably going to run for his life. But I think there's going to be some games where if the game slows down a little bit, maybe early on in the season at the Texans, against Denver, the Cardinals. I'm not saying they're winnable games, but from a prop standpoint, if I get 225, 235, 245 passing yards, I'm going to take a flyer on it. That's number one. I'm a huge fan of Trevor Lawrence. To your point, number two, about sitting him. So, now look, they don't have Gardner Minshew. We'll get to the Eagles in a second. I don't think it would have mattered. So you're basically saying throw him out there. He's going to get the snot beat out of him. Or you throw, if you still had Minshew on the roster, a 24, 25-year-old quarterback behind that offensive line. My point is, if you're throwing Aaron Rodgers or Brady and that offensive line is still bad, they're still going to get hits. So I do believe he's got to get acclimated to the pro game. Now, if we're talking week 4 and he's been sacked 17 times, then you're probably going to have to sit him where the kid's going to get hurt. That's why I did not agree at all. If you really think about it, I did not agree at all with the direction that they went in the draft. I didn't. Because they get their franchise quarterback. So what should you do? You should try to draft a tackle or a guard. They chose to go the running back route with the kid from Clemson, and the kid gets hurt. But that's a story for another day. So I'll agree with you the second point, but I like him for a couple props early on. I do, especially for passing yards.
Yeah, no, listen, I understand it. And I know you're not alone in that thinking. I have a bad feeling with him, man. I really do. And I think you mentioned getting acclimated. It's hard for any young quarterback to get acclimated. I don't care how NFL ready, how talented they are. With a decent supporting cast around him, he doesn't even have a cast. I mean, he's out there on an island by himself with the misfit toys. I think it could get ugly early.
Urban Meyer might be thinking, what the hell did I get myself into? All right, this is the worst-kept secret. We knew Hurts was going to be named the starter, but they did make the trade for Gardner Minshew. Tells me, obviously, we know about the injuries with Mullins and where Flacco is. When you look at the Eagles, and you look at the first 4 or 5 games, if you're going to go individual player props, if you're just kind of glossing around in your head with some ideas, where are you confident here with this Eagles team from a betting standpoint, NFC East games, home games, road games, the under, the over? Give me your thoughts on how you're going to approach the Philadelphia Eagles from a betting standpoint. Are you going to wait the first couple games of the season to see how it plays out?
I'm going to bet the Atlanta Falcons week 1. I know that much.
Yeah, me too.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, me too.
I love that bet.
Yeah.
I saw a stat the other day, and, maybe take this with a grain of salt, but, in the past maybe 10 years or so, I forget the exact number of years they mentioned, but teams that struggled in the preseason and sat their quarterback, I don't have the exact metric, but you'll get the point I'm driving home. They're like 12-38 against the spread in week 1. Yeah. So it linked up with the Eagles where if they come out of that game with a win or even a cover, that would be, against what history tells you.
Sure.
So, and I've been saying this to you for a while now. I just think the first 6 weeks for the Philadelphia Eagles this year is an absolute bear of the schedule, and it's not even, an indictment on them. So betting week to week, I'm not betting the Eagles at all. If anything, I'm going to ride against them. And then as far as the NFC East, I'm not going to take a flyer on the Eagles to win the division. I like the under for win totals for the Eagles.
So do I.
And that's really where I'm saying. Honestly, if we're looking at some other player props, I like the under total receiving yards for Devontae Smith. I'm going against them in a lot of different categories.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to grab the Falcons at 3. I think it's a 3.5 now, but I'm hammering that as well. You know why? You got a rookie head coach and essentially a rookie quarterback that's got to go on the road to open up a season. I mean, if anything, that's a game, when you look at the total number of points at 48, you think they probably have to move the ball a little bit, but I just don't know. I mean, that's number one. And as far as player prompts, I can't have confidence in any player prop right now with the Eagles because I'm not sure what that quarterback's going to bring to the table. So I'm going to give it like you the first couple weeks, and I'm leaning right now towards putting some money down on Washington to repeat as division champs. I think that defense is going to win them a bunch of games this year.
I would tend to agree with you. You and I, once again, it's not the first time both of us have, made a case for Washington. I can't get behind Dallas. I'm sorry. And the Giants and the Eagles, I can't get behind them either. I think those two teams, New York and Philly, have way too many question marks, and I could see their seasons being a surprise in a good way or just being sort of a disaster and a bleep storm like they've been in the past.
Blasphemy. When are you going to be back on the air?
What's the day? Wednesday.
Yes.
So tomorrow overnight I'll be on WIP, and then I have a shift Saturday and a shift Sunday. And just follow me on Twitter at WiseDry. I have some other projects that I'll be announcing before the weekend.
All right, pal. Well, look, we always look forward to it, and keep up the good work, bud. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
You got it. Be well. There you have it. Our guy, Ryan Rothstein, checking in for a couple of months, 4:45.
It's